Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to talk about legal templates. It's very important that you protect your business, that you have whatever you need in place in order to make it safe. I was looking for a different transaction coordinator agreement for a long time and I couldn't really find anything. I wanted to make it stronger, more robust, and this is how I came across Amira's website, a self guru. Amira is a lawyer and entrepreneur, and she sells legal template in her website. And I was pleasantly surprised because at that point I was also searching for some other templates for my website and also for my coaching business. And honestly, I found a lot of other legal template stores, websites, but the prices were like 3 times more than the ones that I found in Amira's. If you're a business owner, transaction coordinator, freelancer, whatever, if you're making content and you need social media releases, if you have a website and you're looking for the disclosures that you have to have in place and things like that, make sure you don't miss this interview. This conversation was actually way longer. I actually extract part of the interview to put it here on the YouTube channel, but the rest of the interview is going to be included in the course that I'm launching soon. So if you would like to give it a try, you can use the link that I have included in the description below, and that is an affiliate link. So if you would like to support this channel, that will be wonderful. So enjoy the interview. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I am going to have the pleasure to interview Amira Irfan. And Amira is an internationally renowned business lawyer, blogger, and coach behind a Self Guru, an online company that has been featured around the world for helping entrepreneurs legally protect their businesses through its affordable legal templates and services. Amira has had the honor of helping over 50,000 entrepreneurs comply with the laws and safeguard their businesses. Her work has been featured in 200 media outlets such as Ticker News, Yahoo Finance, International Business Times, and more. I am so excited to present to you Amira. Amira, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Cecilia. It's always a pleasure to connect with fellow entrepreneurs. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're super excited. We all know the importance of, being legally protected and make sure our businesses are safe. So I wanted to start with a little bit of information about your company, what exactly you do, and what is the story behind a self guru.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. A lot of things actually go in responding to that. So first, a little bit about me. By the way, thank you for the introduction. So I am a business lawyer and entrepreneur behind aselfguru.com. So one thing that really is different about me as compared to other lawyers is that I'm not just only practicing law, I'm also a business owner. So I totally get the whole online scheme and how things work because me being having my own business, but it didn't all start that way. Actually, when I was in college, unfortunately, I watched my own dad's business get sued for $90,000 for not using a contract with the person that he was working with. So that really just turned my life upside down. I was actually not even, it wasn't even on my mind that I was going to become a lawyer. I was going to become a doctor, totally different. That's what I was pursuing. But that whole lawsuit really was devastating, to say the least. We had to my dad lost everything. We had to start all over again. And in that whole process of navigating the lawsuit with his lawyers and helping my dad, I realized that this is my calling. Like maybe this happened because that was like some universal way for me to realize that, hey, I have a passion for it. And I realized that there's so many other business owners out there like my dad who make legal mistakes, not because they want to, but because sometimes they don't have the education and they just haven't taken the time to realize that what are the consequences of doing X versus Y. So I just wanted to then become a business lawyer. And then in that whole year, that's when I changed my full career plan and ended up going to law school instead of medical school. And then after working, Cecilia, in the traditional sense as a lawyer for over a decade, I was like, you know what? I want to help more people. So I took my whole legal and business expertise and launched my own business online, which is how ASELF Group was born. And then for the last 6 years or so, I have been helping entrepreneurs legally protect themselves and their businesses, either by working with me one on one or simply downloading my done for you legal templates. And I know you grab some of my legal templates too. So I'm really happy to see you among other, business owners, like really taking the legal side of their business seriously and protecting themselves.
So yes, I definitely bought the templates from Amira's website, and I am absolutely amazed with how easy they are to just fill out the blanks. The explanations are super easy to follow. So definitely something that I recommend. And talking about that, I wanted to hear from you what make you, include one of these templates, a transaction coordination agreement, because I've been honestly searching all over and I wasn't able to find in one of these sites that kind of have the same business model as you do anything that talks about transaction coordinators. So give us a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, so the interesting story behind it is that every single template that you see in my legal store, there's at least, I would say, 25 or more bundles, templates. Every single thing was created on popular demand. So the way the idea behind the real estate transaction coordinator template or the bundle, that was created because there was a real estate transaction coordinator that actually reached out to me, and she requested a template that she said, hey, I have an audience, and there's so many people out there that are just like going blind. They don't know what contract to use. And certainly the free ones are not enough to protect you. They're not even enforceable in court. So I want like a legit contract that I could share with my people and then also use herself. So that's kind of like she and I work together to really custom tailor this contract and even the bundle that I sell for transaction coordinator. So that's kind of how it started. That's how that bundle was created. Similarly, coaches legal bundle or bloggers legal bundle, a lot of different bundles that you'll see or templates that you'll see on my site, they were really honestly created not because one day I woke up and I said, oh, you know what, I'm just going to launch this. No, I like to always validate. I like to test it, and I want to make sure that it is really tailored to that particular niche. So that way you're protected, So that's really the story behind this particular template. And I'm glad that people are like, I'm glad that you found it, and other people have also found it by simply Googling or on Instagram that they find me. And then they're able to kind of like, and I don't promote it that much, but I should.
I can definitely say that I reached out to you through the website, and one of your team members replied to me right away. They're super professional. They provide, a ton of information with all the questions that I have. So I am super, super satisfied with the way that you and your team treat your customers, because I am one of them right now. So thank you. And also, I wanted to ask you, transaction coordinators is super funny because we work all day long with contracts, right?
Yes.
That's what we do. We
Yes.
base our tasks on a contract for real estate. Kind of ironic because, we're super big in contracts, but we don't utilize them when it comes to our own businesses. Are there any, specific points that you can mention that are super important for a TC to, be protected and cover themselves and their businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, being a TC comes with a lot of responsibility. You're dealing with some real estate transactions, and you have to be very meticulous. You're paying attention to the details. You have contracts, you have these numbers. A lot of any kind of mistake can result into a big liability for you. Of course, your client too, who are the agents and the brokers, but who they're going to shift the liability to? You. So there's a huge risk that you're taking being like this middle party. And then that's why it's so important for you to, as they say, CYA, cover your butt. You need to cover yourself from any kind of consequences that could happen, any mistakes, any errors that you could make, right? Which could come and backfire you on you. And then next thing you know, you're liable for thousands of dollars, and you're also getting sued into this lawsuit. You're also being named, so that's number one thing. The liability is huge. The second thing is that anytime, and I always preach this, like prevention is always better than dealing with an issue later on, especially when it's so easy and affordable to get legal help. I'm not saying it's affordable everywhere, but I know I take pride in the fact that my templates and my work is definitely affordable. So I would always say that whenever money is exchanged, you always want to protect yourself, because you never know how things can go. And also, like, if you don't have a contract, you don't know if you're even going to get paid, or you're going to get paid on time. That's always an issue that comes up, not just with TCs, but basically clients across the board. Sometimes they'll deliver the work, they'll do the work, but then they're waiting for their client to make the payment, or the payment is not what they agreed upon because there was something that the client wasn't happy with. So these are things that the scope of work, the actual work that you're going to be doing, and the payment terms and the late payment terms, all of those things in a properly written contract will protect you and also the client, so that both of you are on the same page. And then also, like, a lot of times TCs don't understand that from a tax point of view and a legal point of view, it's very important to make it very clear in the contract that you're working as an independent contractor. You're not an employee. So you're legally responsible for your own payment of taxes, managing your own finances, no benefits, any of that stuff. So you're literally working in that contractor capacity. So it's so important for both parties to actually, there's legal provision in a contract that actually needs to be there, that hey, you're working as an independent contractor. So that's another thing that the agreement will have. If you don't have it, then again, it's open to state law, right? So and then also, and that's the other thing about contracts. So there are a lot of things in a contract that you can add, like personalize the contract. You can add special conditions, restrictions, responsibilities. If you don't do that, then it didn't happen. Then there's no record of it, right? So it's like my word against your word. And then also, like, dispute resolution is a big one. The other thing people don't realize, and this happened with my dad, and I have seen this happen for years and years with other business owners too, is that they will not put a legal provision for dispute resolution, like what laws will govern, or how they will resolve the disputes. Is it going to be like mediation, arbitration? Like, what are the non-litigation ways to handle this? So that way the cost is not high. You don't have to right away hire a lawyer. There are other amicable ways of resolving and legal issues. So if you don't have any of those things in your contract, once again, state law is going to govern, and you will be dragged to court, and you'll have to end up then facing the lawsuit for God knows how long. And we all know that lawsuits are very long lasting. Even my dad's one lasted an entire year before we could rest in peace. So just a lot of different things. And then also, like, legal compliance and other things. So you just want to make sure that your services are clearly identified. What are you offering? What are you not offering? Your limitation of liability language in there, so that the client can't later on come after you for legal damages. All of those things are very important. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that you mentioned about included in the contract what state laws are you going to use if in the case of a dispute. And that is so important, especially for TCs, because in many cases,
Yes.
let's say I am in Florida personally, but I might be able to service a realtor that is in Maryland, and I don't know, Georgia, anywhere, right? So if that is not clear, which laws are going to be, how do you say that, applied for
Yeah.
that particular contract, then that is an issue. And it's super, super common, again, that TCs service realtors in many different states.
Yeah.
So that's great. Thank you so much for the detailed explanation. Definitely, as everyone can see, those templates are very robust. Now, I would
Yeah.
like to address the elephant in the room here, because it is a reality that a lot of TCs, they do have an agreement in place. But either they write it themselves, they got it from someone else that we don't know what that someone else is got it from to start with. And in some cases, I even know that there are some people selling agreements even on Etsy for a very, very low price. And I know for a fact that these people are not attorneys. So, if you don't mind, just explain why this is not a good idea ever.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad advice. Even yesterday, one of my group members on Facebook, she showed me like a thread online, and where somebody, and this is a successful business owner, is recommending that go ahead and copy, the privacy policy or these disclaimers from this website. And he is running, like, I don't know, $1 million business or something like that. But this is the bad advice that he's giving, and his students are blindly just following it. So I totally understand what you're saying, and that does happen, and it is very unfortunate. But you have to be very careful. Like, at the end of the day, it's your business, your baby, your name, your reputation, right? They don't care. They're going to give their bad advice and move on. But if you're not going to use your own intellect, your own brain to figure out that, hey, which advice I need to take, which one I don't. So there's a lot of fluff out there. Number one, the biggest issue with this advice, like where you just copy somebody else's, is the copyright violation. I mean, there's an actual law, copyright law, which states that, any kind of content that is like on my website, if it's original, meaning I created it, I didn't copy from somebody else, I'm the legal owner of it. So you can't come to my site and just go ahead and copy whatever you felt like copying. Maybe you like an image, or maybe you like the blog post, or maybe you like the policy or something, and you're like, here, let me just copy Amira's stuff because it's so good. Well, guess what? I'm going to sue you. So I'm going to sue you for copyright infringement. And it's going to be not a small suit, like 100,000 even. It's going to be like multiple thousands of dollars. In fact, the last lawsuit that we settled when I was doing litigation was for 500,000, $500,000 that we settled for a copyright violation. So it's not small. We're going to come after you in every different way. So that's one thing that these people that are giving this advice, or the people that are selling these so-called frivolous, crappy templates, is they don't realize that what kind of liability or risk that they're taking. All it takes is one lawyer to go after them, and next thing you know, they're going to be the one responsible for copyright violation. So that's one thing you got to very much keep in mind, because it's real. The second thing with these free templates out there is that they're, and I have personally audited them. So when I was creating my legal templates for different industries, including TCs, one of the things that I did look at is so-called these free things floating on the web, because I'm like, let me see this garbage, right? And the problem with the free is that you get what you pay for, because they're always, trust me, I've audited them myself. And over the years, I also offer a service which is called reviewing your legal contract before you, bind yourself to it. I will right away spot it that this was a contract that was just copy pasted, or just wasn't written by an attorney, because you can tell that it's missing key legal provisions, it is deficient, it doesn't hold up in court, it has a lot of loopholes in there exposing you to risk, it's not going to be detailed, it's not going to be tailored to your specific industry. And what's the point of having this contract when it can't even protect you when it's time for trouble, right? The problem with So the benefit of a contract is to, first of all, to avoid trouble. Second, in the event of a lawsuit, you want the terms to protect you. You want there to be enough, basically it needs to have all the important provisions, so that way, if God forbid you do end up in court for a breach of contract or anything like that, you're going to be able to rely on that contract, because you can go to the judge and be like, judge, look, there's this provision, it was clearly, so there's no conflict. But if you don't even have a contract that has all those provisions in there, how are you going to argue that, or how is that going to work in your favor, right? It's not. And that's what ends up happening. So first, like I mentioned, the copyright violations, that's a big risk. Second, if an attorney didn't write it, you cannot trust it. It's not even legal. It's not enforceable. The third thing is that it just has all these provisions that are missing, and I've personally audited them. And that's why when you, one of the first things in my business, what I did was, it's such a good question that you asked. That's the question that I asked 50 some entrepreneurs that I bought from me, right in the very beginning. I said, you know what? I want to ask you. And if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see this question that I ask from every client interview or customer interview or testimonial. Like, why didn't you go for a free template? You know what they tell me? It didn't give me peace of mind. So if a free template is not going to let you sleep easy at night, not going to give you free peace of mind, then I'm sorry. Why are you relying on it? So I hate to go on and on about this, but this is something like I'm really passionate about because I've interviewed so many successful entrepreneurs, and the smart ones know. Like you knew, like you got my template, and I was so proud of you that you used my media release agreement on me before we had this interview. So you see what I mean? Like this is the
Yeah.
kind of and you're not the only one. Like I go on podcast interviews all the time, and one of my customers, Jessica, she also has my podcast legal bundle and some of the other templates, and she did the exact same thing. She used that guest release on me before we got on the interview. So this is again like very smart, and all the smart ones will take action, and the ones that want to cut corners, just remember at the end of the day, all it takes is one mistake for your life to be turned upside down, and I'm a prime example of that.
Yes, no, no, I totally agree. And thank you so much for addressing that. So, all right, well, Amira, where can someone find you if they would like to get in touch with you, buy your templates, or book a consultation with you? What's the best way?
Yeah. So the easiest way is on social media. Like I'm everywhere at A Self Guru. So if it's my Instagram, my YouTube, my Pinterest, my Facebook, everywhere it's at A Self Guru. The second way to actually book a call with me, a consultation, or to simply buy one of my legal templates or bundles or anything, then just go to my website, aselfguru.com. There's a services page, and then there's a legal store page. The legal store page has all the templates, and the services are all one-on-one, where you and I literally just work one-on-one together. So definitely stay in touch. If nothing else, just come say hello on social media. I just love connecting.
So, Amira, thank you so much for your time today. It's been wonderful. I appreciate all the wonderful information you share with me and the aspiring TCs. And, I will see you around. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.